Thank you very much. A lot has been said about my wife, Rukia, and I want to confirm from very close range that everything that has been said about her is true. You know, when people pass on, and when we have this kind of a function, we tend to exaggerate. Even people who are not entirely good, we tend to exaggerate and say they were perfect. But I want to confirm to you that everything that has been said about Rukia, my dear wife, the mother of my two sons, is accurate, 100%. And when I lost Rukia, it reminded me of a very common biblical verse. It goes, "He who finds a wife finds a good thing." I don't know why it's not the other way around. He who finds a husband finds a good thing. But I think that is a story for another day. I think our men and women of God will tell us why it is not the other way some other occasion. I want to confirm that my wife was a good thing. But it didn't just happen, it didn't just come. I took a long time to find this good thing. And you know, that is why the Bible says, he who finds. You know, for you to find, you must look. These words are not accidental. They are very deliberate. You must look. You must search. And it took me 8 years to find Rukia. I graduated from law school in 1991. I was a mature, energetic young man, and I was ready for holy matrimony. And I moved up and down. Why are you looking at me? Onyonka. Senator Onyonka, why are you looking at me? You know, in Nairobi, you were not in Nairobi, and I said that you and I are generals. And I said the difference is that you are a 5-star general, and I said I'm just a 2-star general, and it was probably misinterpreted. What I meant is that my rank is slightly lower. But I also said something that was not well picked, that whereas we are both generals, you are a front line general, competent. Me, I don't go to the front line. I stay in the barracks and deal with logistics. So I graduated 1991, and I spent 8 years finding, searching. Then one day, and I remember, it was a Wednesday, somewhere. I don't want to say where it was because my in-laws are here. I don't want them to hear. I will tell you when they go to Tanzania. One day, it was a Wednesday. Actually, it was not afternoon, it was evening. I met Rukia. I won't tell you where I met her. And I knew I had finally found my good thing. And I never looked back. I know my boys are going to ask me questions when we go home. They're going to ask me, where is this you met, Mom? And what is this that captivated you? I will tell you. Of course, you will have to give me something small. So, we got married, 1999. And we've been married for 27 years. Uninterrupted. No incident. That confirms that I really found my thing, my good thing. And many things have been said about Rukia. And I said some of them in Nairobi. I spoke about the good food, excellent food that she used to cook. Spoke about the order that she instilled in me. I spoke about the tidiness and smartness. I never used to be smart, Mheshimiwa Onyonka. Rukia taught me to be smart. I still have a few challenges, but it's not too bad. And when we went home, one of my sons took issue with my speech in Nairobi and said there's something I didn't say. The fact that a mother gave me the opportunity to succeed. She said, you spoke about all these other things, these mundane things of food, you know, smartness, but there's something you didn't talk about. And this is the fact that our mother enabled you to succeed. Because most of the time you're out there. And it's true. Most of the time I was out there. If I was not in Arusha, tribunal for Rwanda, because, you know, when I married her, I brought her back home. Because I could not leave her in Tanzania. I had to bring her back home to be sure that she's safe. So I brought her back home. And so now I went back to Tanzania. But she knew I was safe there because her people were there to ensure that I was safe. And so I would be in Arusha. At some point, I would be in Sierra Leone. There's a time I went to work in Sierra Leone. Later, International Criminal Court. And because I was traveling all the time, my wife decided not to get engaged in any formal employment. She decided to take care of our children and to take care of our home. And so when my son reminded me this, I totally agreed. And I said, guilty as charged. And so I want to confirm today that the little success that I've had in my professional career can be attributed directly to my wife, Rukia, because she gave me the chance to thrive. She gave me the chance to succeed. And I thank her, and I will thank her eternally. The other thing I want to say is that Rukia was very, very humble, down to earth. As you've heard, she came from royalty. Very, very intelligent. She was very humble and very respectful. She was not nagging. You know, us men don't like women who nag. She was not nagging at all, and for that reason, we had a very peaceful home. So many things have been said about my wife, and I have said I want to confirm all that has been said. I can spend several hours telling you about my wife, but because of time, allow me to defer that to another day. For now, let me take this opportunity to acknowledge all of you who have come here today to mourn with us. I have received messages, hundreds, in fact thousands of messages from well-wishers, from people, some of them I didn't know. And I'm really, really touched. This has made our situation better. It has alleviated our pain. And I want to thank you also for coming here today in large numbers. I know you've traveled from different parts of the country. I want to thank my in-laws, for the closeness that you have shown, for the comfort that you've given us, for the prayers that you've said for us. I want in particular to thank Dr. Matiangi for standing with us in this long journey. When we went to the US in 2023 and Rukia fell ill, I think one of the first persons that I mentioned to was Dr. Matiangi. And I kept briefing him all along. And he kept encouraging me, comforting me, sending me messages. And Dr. Matiangi, I just want to thank you wholeheartedly for being a very, very close friend. Most people don't know how far I have come with Dr. Matiangi. People think we met in government. We did not meet in government. We've known each other for close to 40 years. As a matter of fact, his father, whom I knew first, was my very good friend. Very, very, very good friend. And we used to meet at the shopping center at Manga. And he loved education. He knew I loved education, and he used to encourage me. And later, I met Dr. Matiangi. He's a lover of literature, English literature. I was a lover of English literature myself. And we became friends, and we kept encouraging each other. And so we've come a long way. And he's a dear friend. He doesn't forsake his friends. I too do not forsake my friends. And we've stood for each other. We met in government years, but that was a culmination of a long, long, long friendship. And thank you very much, Dr. Matiangi. when I got this news about, when actually I was in the US, not that I got the news, when my wife passed on in the US, of course I told Dr. Bagaka to tell Dr. Matiangi. And from the time he was told that my wife had passed on, he took it upon himself to start arrangements for the repatriation of the remains of my dear wife from the US. And he organized it at a time when I was completely in shock, shaken, and not knowing what to do. So he organized friends, he chaired meetings throughout that period, as a result of which we smoothly got the remains of my dear wife back to Kenya. And that's why they say a friend in need is a friend indeed. And so if anybody were to complain that I'm friends with Dr. Fred Matiangi, I think it's because they do not know how far we have come. They also don't understand the importance of friendship. They will probably say that because either they don't have friends or they don't keep friends. I keep friends myself. And I have no apologies to make about keeping my friend, my dear friend, Dr. Matiangi. Senator Onyonka, thank you very much for coming. It's given me a lot of comfort. You can even hear my mom is very happy. She knows you, admires you a great deal. Jubilee Secretary General Ole Kenta is also a long-term friend of mine. As a matter of fact, Mr. Ole Kenta came here about, I think around 1993, and we raised funds for a secondary school across called St. Patrick's Kawa. The guy was loaded those days. He had a lot of money. He used to carry money in a bag. I don't know where he took it. So we raised some good money and we built the school, and thank you very much. And we have remained friends all along. That shows you I don't forsake my friends. And Ole Kenta also, I know, is a very genuine friend. Thank you very much, my Member of Parliament, Patrick. You came to Nairobi. You mourned with us, and you've been with us throughout. We thank you, and we wish you all the best. As I told you in Nairobi, I think you're okay. Are you okay? Cliff Ngoko. I don't know why they call you Ngoko. I don't know why you like it. But thank you very much. Thank you very much, my friend, for coming. I don't take it for granted. Kibagendi, thank you very, very much for coming. Mheshimiwa Ben, my very good friend. Ben is a very special person to me also because, you know, when I was appointed Solicitor General and I was to go through a vetting process in Parliament, and there were people there who were trying to play around, trying to raise funny issues, unfounded. That young man there, the short man, I said, I don't know whether you are short or young. That young man there fought tooth and nail to ensure that, I was vetted successfully. And in fact, when the motion was tabled before the House, he said very loudly that there is no need of any debate here. Let's put the vote. That's what he said. And the vote was put, and I was approved. I don't know whether I forgot any elected member who is here, because it's not in my nature to forget my friends, because all elected members are my friends. I will come to you, Mheshimiwa, because I have something to say about you also. But let me just acknowledge also the ladies who spoke here, led by Nuru. You've heard her. I just want to thank her wholeheartedly for what she did. I said it in Nairobi. It has been said here. I don't want to repeat. The nurse, thank you very much for the good work you did. Uncle Ismail, who is not here, thank you very, very much. Ashatasha, thank you very much for the work you did to take care of my wife. My sisters in the United States of America, Frida, Alfo, Josephine, and Dina, thank you very much for staying very close to my wife when she was going through this very, very difficult period. And I fully understand they could not be here, but they are with us. My in-laws, Kefa, thank you very much. You traveled with me, and you've been with me. You've been comforting me, comforting my boys. Thank you so much. My other in-laws in the US, Shem and Boniface, thank you very much. All my other in-laws who are here, thank you. Thank you a great deal. And in a very special way, allow me to recognize Rogers Muturi. I don't know whether Rogers is here. Rogers, and I want to recognize him because Rogers came all the way to the US to come and see my wife. I was really touched, and I shed tears on that day when he came to hospital to see my wife. And thank you very much, Rogers, for that act of sympathy and empathy. Other than that, Rogers gave us the vehicle that transported my in-laws from Nairobi, and we are very grateful for that. Former PS Susan Mochache, I also want to acknowledge her. She has been with us throughout. Solicitor General Mose, my very good friend Mohamed Nyaoga, they've stood with us. Chairman John Simpa, he was here in the morning. I want to thank him so much. My former colleague in government, former PS Defense, Ambassador Kaberia, I saw he was here. Thank you very much, my brother, for coming. Closer home, Principal Eronge, I don't know whether you are here. Thank you very much for the assistance that you've given us. Former Chief Justice Maraga came to see us, and very, very grateful to him for his condolences. Kisii Governor Simbarati, thank you very much. Steve Oboso, I think I saw you here. Thank you very much. Dr. John Matiang'i, Josephine Omanwa, Yabesh Bichanga, Jerusha Mumanyi, Victor Ogeto, thank you very, very much. You were in Nairobi with us and you've come here. I don't take it for granted that you've spared time to come and condole with us. My classmates of 1989, I was in the 1989 class, the University of Nairobi Law class of 1989. They've stood with us throughout, emotionally and materially, and I want to thank them most wholeheartedly. In fact, they sent a representative. They sent representatives, actually, not one. They sent Madam Kawiria Mbogori. I don't know whether Kawiria, you are there. I can see they are all seated together. Ken Omanga, Alice Ondieki. They traveled all the way from Nairobi. Gashon wears another hat. He was a classmate. Yes, good. Thank you very, very much. I would have asked you to speak, but we are squeezed for time. But please convey my heartfelt gratitude to our class, our dear class. And then we have the Kisii lawyers. I can see they are led here by the indefatigable Dunstan Omari is here, the one and only. And Becky, this is a gracious lady, is a lawyer. She coordinates us as Kisii lawyers when we have this kind of issues. She's the one who coordinates us. Very good mobilizer, very empathetic. Thank you very much, Becky. And convey my gratitude also to that very good group of ours, our lawyers from the larger Kisii. We also had a lot of conflict.